Kind of in a good space today. Your man DJ Ekin, Tampa's most connected DJ, man. Brittany said I could do this today without her, and I kind of wanted to be in this space with a dude I highly respect in this industry as I keep trying to, and Hovain, before we even get into that, what I love about you since I first met you is the way that you move always seems to be in a direction of going forward, no matter what's going on. Because I've been around to see a few things that you went through, but like I said, to me, it always seems like when I'm watching it or when I talk to you, it's always in a positive direction. So I wanted to get you some kind of way on the line, some kind of way on video, some kind of way on the screen that I could holler at you, man. My man Hovain Hylton, and dude, I don't even. The title I got is manager, mover around the industry, that sort of thing. But you also got this new thing popping off, Cinematic Music Group. So if you can give folks that'll get a chance to see this a little bit of your history on, what you've done in this industry so far.
First of all, thank you for that intro. You made me feel like I was smart.
You are, man.
I gotta have you introduce me before I walk into a room now, before I go to a meeting. No, but Cinematic Music Group is a record label and it's also a management company. So I'm the president of the management company. So Cinematic Music Group, the label, has been responsible for the careers of Nipsey Hussle, Joey Badass, recently T-Pain. We managed Cameron, Styles P. We was working with Wale for a while. A bunch of artists, man.
Right.
Bunch of artists.
Is Flip De Niro somewhere in that situation too? He's Flip's in there, right?
Yeah, Flip De Niro signed to us. We Cinematic / We the Best.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I got a list of things I want to get into with you. But first off, I just want to know, because everybody the kids that I meet nowadays, everybody, we got Instagram now. We don't have the streets that way that you and I kind of got into this at first, where it kind of was like it was a love for this thing so much as a just everybody want to be famous. Because being from New York and the block is what made you fall in love with this, and it's way different now. But one of the interesting questions I have for you is, everybody seems to want to be an artist. Everybody wants to be in front of the camera. What made you make the decision that management and that movement of things was going to be your thing?
Man, I think the management shit kind of found me. It was like I started doing it out of necessity for a friend that rapped at that time. And
right.
Then as his career started to grow, like, my knowledge of managerial services and duties started to grow. And I just was like, when it was time for him to find a manager, I'm like, yeah, we got to get you a manager, bro. Like, nigga, you the manager.
Right.
I'm like, huh? So I kind of got like on-job training, and like it just happened. Kind of, it was like one of those things that kind of really just happened. And I used to listen to like great rappers, and I used to be like, I can't do that.
Right.
There ain't no way I'm able to do that. So it was like, management was a dope thing for me. It just kind of like.
So in your day to day, what does that entail? And I'm gonna get into something a little. I'm not sure if you're gonna want to go there in a second, but because I know you, I want to get a little bit into your history too. But your day to day on the regular, what does that entail?
Man, I'm gonna be 100% honest. No 2 days are really alike. I know it starts with waking up, thanking God, checking my email, checking my texts.
Right.
Stuff like that. That's usually the start, but it can go from anywhere from, hey, I gotta fly out to a video shoot, I gotta go to a meeting. I gotta go to the studio. We gotta go to the factory to look at your merch. Like, there's no really one particular thing. I know it's gonna entail a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of texts. That's the only thing that's consistent with my name. Right. But it's always different. So
do you ever, and I saw P from QC talk about this a while back, and again, the reason I want to go here too is because I want everybody to understand your history. And one of the biggest things that I saw you do was the Troy Ave thing, right? Mm-hmm. If you were not in New York, Troy Ave, from what I saw, because I was in Florida by then when he popped off, he's not on a major. He doesn't have the big machine in back of him at the time. But y'all are steadily moving, which means that you're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, you can't. I would never take anything away from him. Like, one of the only people I ever met in life that matched my work ethic and probably was a little bit more than mine was him. When we first connected, the number one thing we wanted to do was work. You know what I'm saying? So we had a goal, and that's all we did was work towards that goal. You know what I'm saying? So it was us, pretty much two people against the majors. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were sharing that same space and sharing that same show space with major artists and that same airwaves, So it was us, and then a little bit along the way, you know, you meet supporters, you'll meet people that can actually help. But for the most part, it was a 2-man crew.
Right. Which brings me to my next question, which is what I want a lot of these kids to understand when they hear me talk to people like yourself. Now, when you look at the work that you had to do, then again, I saw P talk about this, and I've seen a few managers, like, you guys do a lot of groundwork in the beginning. You find somebody that you partner with, and again, the work matches, and y'all getting somewhere, and then all of a sudden y'all might reach a certain place. And I'm not saying that this is what happened with you and Troy, or P and his situation over at QC, but I guess what I want to ask is, how is a manager, or is there a way for a manager to somewhat protect themselves if they've gotten an artist to a certain place, or they're involved in a deal to a certain place, and all of a sudden that artist gets there, and right, there may be somebody in the room. Let's say, for example, love this dude, he's the man, Diddy's in the room, right? And you've been working, and all of a sudden Diddy likes the situation. He's like, yo, I want you, but your manager can't come. Is there some sort of protection that you could have as a manager?
That's why you have lawyers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to have some type of clause. You got to have it's really called the sunset clause, to where if y'all part ways, you're still going to be involved and still get the percentage and the things you brought to the table and things going forward. So things happen. Like, people get married and break up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Businesses and business partners split up every day. There's nothing sexy about that. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just it's amplified because it's young black men and it's millions of dollars. But people break up all the time. Things split up. Nothing lasts forever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think that as far as protecting yourself, you got to make sure your business is right. And that's the only protection you really have, because if there's no paperwork or there's no business, and he decides, hey, this is it, I'm going a different direction, and you ask them.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the things that a lot of these young creators that I talk to, I want them to understand, because I think that we get into this, and like you said, it's sexy, it's cool. Yeah. But in those back rooms, man, things could go wrong at any minute. And I'm trying to tell everybody, have your business in order.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a grown-up conversation.
Right.
Hey, all right, this is the management contract. My lawyer put a sunset clause in it, so that way, if anything happens, I'm protected. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Let's talk the streets versus this digital thing that's going on nowadays. Because again, like I said, when I first met you, your situation, you move a lot by, it's a grind, and you had to at some point started to understand this digital space that we're in as well. Gift and a curse, good, bad. What's your thoughts on the streets versus where we are now?
Streets is always going to be the lead into what's going on, right? Because the artist can have the streams, they can have all the fucking reports that you need, and then you go book the artist for a show and nobody cares, then it's an empty arena. So you need a healthy balance. Streets always going to dictate what's hot. If a record is going crazy on the streets and everybody's demanding it, everybody wanted, the radio has no choice to play it. The radio will be late on it probably, but they have no choice to play it.
Right.
In the digital world, that works well too. Yeah. I've seen people put out songs on TikTok or put out songs on YouTube and the shit take off, and then a week later they're getting a deal and getting an advance of amount of money that they would have never seen in their life. So I understand where both of these things are important and both of them work. Don't rely too well on either. Just try to meet them in the middle. And if you're an artist that get heavy streams, make sure you're doubling up on the street work. You're going out, you're shaking hands, you're going to the radio stations, you're going to the parties, you're going to the clubs. And if you're artists who are really street-based and your movement is in the streets, make sure you hire a digital playlister or somebody who can work your situation to the internet.
Right. Can we talk a little bit about that whole going to the club thing? Because there's some artists that I've met, and I want to hear this from you down here in the South, right? And I talked to them about, going to a club when a DJ is in full-blown mode at 1:30 in the morning, that ain't really a good time. And also, too, I'm a firm believer in, don't skip over the dude who's just starting. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these dudes come because, and I feel like I'm in the upper echelon of what we doing in this city, right? So I feel like I've got radio and other things that I'm doing. And it's not that I don't even want to talk to that person, but I get offended when they skip dudes who, they might be doing house parties now, or they doing school stuff right now, because to me, they're just as important.
Nah, salute all DJs. I go kick it with the opener. Hey, yo, listen. I want you to come by the office and hear some records. You tell me what you feeling. What are you playing? It's show them some love. It's a genuine connection. They gotta like the music, of course, but you always want to. I'm the type of person, me personally, I know my dry cleaner's name, his kids, and shit like that. Like I'm a people person.
Right.
So like when I go in the club, I'm gonna shake everybody's hand. I'm gonna talk to you, and because you never know. Like I wasn't who I am today, like when you met me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure you treated me with the same amount of respect, and you was fucking with me wholeheartedly then. So now when I am who I am, we still have that bond in that relationship. So I try to treat everybody like that. Today's dishwasher is tomorrow's CEO. So it's like, you know, and on the deeper level, and what somebody can do for you, that's just like good personal being a human shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You tell somebody character by how they treat people who they think they don't need. You know what I'm saying? He might be an opener, you can skip him and talk to the main DJ. What happened when this main DJ moved out of this market and now the opener is the nigga? He remembers, oh yeah, fuck you, you just meet up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, and I try to tell a lot of cats that, you know, and like the relationships are so important in this game. I pride myself on it because to me it matters much more if you will answer my call or you will call me because to me I've always heard this too, and I think you're a believer in this. What matters to me is the person who got my name in the room when I'm not in the room.
That's a fact. Oh, you talking about Florida, Orlando? Oh yeah, you know you gotta holler at Ekin. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And that's what good reputation, and that's what good karma, and that's what great relationships will do for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the artists that I get to manage and people, a lot of artists that I come in contact with just do business with, if I'm not managed, it comes through a referral. It comes through people saying, oh, nah, you need to holler at Hovain. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's my name. That's reputation.
So how important are, like, you know, we went through the street part, and again, I kind of got a list here because, like I said, I think what you have to offer this conversation is so important that I don't want to miss anything, because I think I talk to a lot of artists that claim they want to be in this game and think that they do, but I like to talk to people like yourself as well who are working through this game and going through the everyday problems. So a big deal right now is everybody's like, man, because before, you know, it was like, man, I got so many spins. Now it's like I got so many streams. How important are the numbers? And in a world of manipulation, how important are the numbers?
Don't get me wrong, they are important, but it's like sports, it's like analytics, you know what I'm saying? You could tell a batter, like, in this position, you got to swing because the analytics say you'll hit a home run based on the numbers, but it's still a personal feel, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can walk in a room and you can have all the streams, and I look at you and I get to talking to you, I'm like, yo, he not a star. I don't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So numbers are important. Like, you know, nobody wants to sign an artist who has 2 spins.
Right.
But I'm not just signing you because you have 200 million spins on the record. Because first of all, those could be manipulated. Those could be fake. There's stream farms. You know, like I want to find a healthy balance. Like you got some cool numbers, but there's a fan base. You have organic. How many people go buy your merch? How many people will show up to a show? Like, you know what I'm saying? How many emails do you have in your mailing list? Like, you know what I'm saying? Real, tangible things. How much fan engagement do you have?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Are you when you meet somebody, do you kind of want them to, you want to know that they're already working, or?
100%. Because I'm not looking to turn a 0 to a 5. I'm looking to turn somebody a 5 into a 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. You know, go ahead.
If you're not working, you have a poor work ethic, or you ain't doing shit that's gonna match my hustle. Right now, I'm the busiest I've ever been in my life. I went from managing one artist to now having a management company full of artists and junior managers underneath me. So it's like, time is a luxury I don't have. So if you're gonna bullshit and waste my time, it's not gonna work.
Dude, man, see, and this is what I want. I want it straight from a dude who's doing it. We can read all the books we want. We can look at all the internet notes. But to me, it's this conversation that matters so much to me, which brings me here. And I want you to look at your deepest right now, because you've been here. The word right now that everybody is talking, I've heard it on different podcasts. I've read it in a couple of different artists. I think I've heard Steve Stout say it. I think I heard Joe Budden say it. And you've been on both sides. If Drake goes independent, is the music industry really finished?
You see, now, I get what they're saying. The music industry not going to be finished, never. You could drop every artist from most major labels and their catalog that they're collecting every month, still keep the record labels over. It's certain, like Mariah Carey's Christmas album catalog generates Universal. I think 175 million dollars every year, or something like that. Like that's just one album. That's what I'm saying. Music catalogs. These labels own catalogs. The Beatles, Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney. Like their catalogs alone to keep them afloat. It won't be over, but what will happen was they're gonna have to make a drastic adjustment because once Drake does that and he's successful, a lot of other artists will start following behind what he's doing, and then that'll lead to people questioning, saying, "I don't need to be on a major. I can just do this myself per se." So you know what I'm saying? And to change the business model because a lot of people will follow what Drake is doing.
Right.
So now the labels have to come to the table like, let's rethink this. How can we make the deal sexy that people want to take them now because now they want to go independent?
Right.
It's kind of like when they realize we're giving these artists all these big deals and they're not making no money, so they regrouped and said, let's come up with a 360. We got to figure something out. So that'll be them going to the table figuring something else out. Like let's see how we can make this sexy. Because if Drake goes independent and wins, which he's gonna win if he does go independent, you can see everybody following behind him. Because it's like, why would I need a middleman if I can go direct to consumer?
But I guess my feedback to that is, but Drake is like this diamond in a whole bunch of coals. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that because Drake has got to be one of his infrastructure, everything that's set up is the best to ever do it, right? So you say
work for every artist, no.
Right.
But if he does go independent and he's wildly successful and he's making $60 to $100 million every 4 months off of independence, right?
Right.
That's gonna say he's an A-grade rapper. If he making 60 to 100, the D-grade rapper gonna say, man, that means I can make $2 million independently a year. Right. So you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a trickle down effect. Independent is way harder. But if you see that type of return, like people are sheep. People don't want the original; they want the copy. They pass on Nelly and they say, "I want Chingy." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I see it's worth for Drake. They could have jumped out there and been independent, but if it were for Drake, then people are going to follow behind it. It's definitely going to trickle down effect from other A-list celebrities and from the lesser guys.
Right. And I don't know how much you know about this situation, but wasn't that kind of where the Macklemore situation was? Because Macklemore didn't really give up everything. He kind of just made a deal with, from what I understand, he kind of made a deal with Warner, Atlantic, whoever he was with, where they pretty much handled his marketing to radio and that sort of thing, because he was already kind of moving. And again, I'm not know the particulars I thought you may have, but I don't know. The Drake thing is kind of.
I know, like Russ had a great deal where he was still able to put out independent music on his own and still have his SoundCloud and shit. Now he's back 100% independent.
Right.
So he used his independence, leveraged a great deal with the majors. Got what he got out of it. They spent millions of dollars of marketing on him. Now he's back independent. He's gonna make all his money.
Right. And Russ preaches that too. Russ preaches that let you can do this yourself if you use the resources.
Very smart guy.
Let me ask you this, because this is something else that I think a lot of these artists should know about, and not even just artists, people who want to be in this business that are never gonna get behind a microphone or never get in front of the camera. I like to talk about a lot of the jobs that we don't see. And one of the things I've watched you do, and this is one of the first things I learned about you, I don't think we had actually met yet, but you had did like an Adidas deal. Mm-hmm. And Troy Ave wasn't the top rapper. You dudes were moving. Like you were moving. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was talking about what y'all were doing, but it was, it wasn't like y'all were in with the Universal then. It wasn't like you were, like you were with the major thing just running and they had everything for you. And then all of a sudden out here pop up like, Hovain, they just did an Adidas deal. How do you move on those deals? And how important are those deals when you in a game like this?
Relationship, man. Like music is free, man. You want to make some music, you want to make a little bit of money over that. But music is free. You sell them the lifestyle. So now you take my music, stream it. All right, I'm gonna get some money from that. But now if I get you to buy my merch, now I get you to come to my show. Now I leverage my celebrity from music to get into movies, TV shows. You know what I'm saying? So them deals are key. You want to have as many business partners as possible in shit. And it all boils down to relationships and leveraging your celebrity. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Let me close this up. Go ahead.
Now to this day, like I get placements from my artists in 2K, Fashion Over deals, Bel Air deals. Like, you know what I'm saying? I try to have as many business partners as possible. because it works both ways, right? So I do a deal with Bel Air. Cool. So now my artist gets extra looks and extra support from another company in a different market space. And then Bel Air, in turn, they get looks in videos and looks on his Instagram and shit like that. So it's like it's coming together for one common goal, but I'm spreading out different. I'm diversifying from just music. So now you're in the liquor store, you might see a poster. All right, I seen a poster of this guy. I might stream his song. Oh shit, Bel Air's putting out an album. Oh man, I'm gonna get on this album. So it's just trying to diversify as much as possible.
Right. Dude, I appreciate you. I'm going to end it with these two questions right here because, like I said, I know after people hear you, because I've had some kids ask me a couple of times already about, yo, how could I be a manager? How could I do this? What are some recommended skills that you would say if someone thought about being a manager or a record exec? What are just some of those basic skills? And I ain't even talking about schooling either. I'm talking about some of those basic skills.
And the best way to learn is to fail, make mistakes. Research as much as possible. That's true, but you want to have resiliency, a sense of like you got to know yourself, like know your talents, know a sense of like self-worth. Like you got to know your strengths. So if you're a good speaker, like I read this book, it's called C to A, from C to A. If I'm a great speaker but not a great speechwriter, I'll hire great speechwriters, because I know my strength is in speech, giving the speech. So don't try to turn your C into an A. Turn your A into an A+, because the time you spent working on being from a C to an A, you can perfect what you're kind of good at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So recognize your skill set. If you're not the greatest deal negotiator, you might need a business partner. You might need a business manager. You know what I'm saying? Just recognize your strengths. Make sure when you're talking to an artist and you're taking on an artist, that y'all align your interests. This is what you want to do. This is your vision. This is my vision. Let's put it together and see if it matches. Because a lot of times some people work together and their only goal is to get money. And then you realize, no, I don't want to be marketed this way, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. So you want to just make sure you're on the same page going forward. And you got to have like one of those shooters mentalities. Like, you missed a shot, take another one. Because you score 50 points tonight, that's not going to win tomorrow game. So you did some dope shit yesterday. What are you going to do today? Because you're only as good as what you're doing recently. Right.
Dude, I was going to ask you for some closing advice, but I think you kind of summed it up right there. What's next for you and Cinematic Music Group, other ventures you got popping off? What's next?
We got a bunch of artists dropping. Got Lil Kel dropping. Cameron's dropping some. Smoke Diz is dropping some. Young and Ace is dropping. Styles P is coming with a new album. The Lox is coming with a new album in about a month or two. Lloyd Banks is coming soon. A lot, man. Cinematic Music Group is growing. We got a lot of good young talent from up north, from down south. We got some legacy acts. We're just gonna keep improving on the culture, man, and keep putting out dope shit.
So basically, you just busy. Basically, what you're saying is you busy.
It's a blessing, man, to have a wife and 2 kids and businesses and fucking artists and shit like that. That shit is a blessing. I'm busy. I'm learning how to take time for self. Right. That's one thing. This quarantine, how to kind of step back and take time for yourself and your family, and leave the phone alone for maybe an hour or two. Just enjoy some of the fruits of your labor, because shit could change in a blink of an eye. And the quarantine definitely showed you that we are not in control.
Right. And while I got you here on the quarantine, because I was going to let you go, but you did bring up something. Has the quarantine changed the business model? Has it changed the business model at all?
I mean, I pride myself on being outside the box thinker, and outside of the box thinkers are the people that are flourishing during the quarantine, because there is no more box. There was a typical way: you got an album, you go and do radio, you do press, you shoot some videos, you put it out. That's out the window now. So now you have to come with unique fan engagements. You got to come up with ways to keep your fans in tune with what you're doing. You got to put out dope videos. You got to put out dope vlogs. You got to do a lot of different shit. You got to think outside of the box. So like I said, it's changed it for people who just are used to, I'm going to come in the office. We got an album. I'm going to get the clearances. We're going to clear some samples. We're going to put this album out. We're going to schedule a tour. Like, nah, all that shit is dead, man. You got to be creative, man. You got to tap into your creativity.
When do you think the show money's coming back? Or do you think the shows as we once knew it, do you think it's over?
Not really, because I got some artists from Alabama and Atlanta that's doing shows right now.
Well, you know what? I kind of have to correct, because down here in Florida, you're right. People are moving around, and I'm kind of like, I mean, really moving around.
I think the country will be ready. Hopefully, I think summer 21 things will get back to kind of normal with them developing vaccines or some type of immunity to this disease. I think we got a year to go until things are half kind of back. I think venues will be never at full capacity. If the spot holds 100 people, they probably hold it at 800 just so people can have a little more space and shit like that. But music and touring and shows are big business, man. One thing I know for sure, money controls how things work in your favor.
Right.
So I don't think that we're not going to get shows and shit like that no more. I think that it'll be about a year out from it.
Okay. My man, Hovain Hylton. I ain't going to do this to you, because I could talk Tom Brady. I could talk Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to talk, that we just got McCoy. I'm not going to talk Mike Evans. I'm not going to do none of that right now, even though I'm a native New Yorker. I'm not going to do none of that right now. I'm not going to go there on you.
I don't have no hope when it comes to sports, though. Just the Yankees, they might came through football season. The Knicks is whatever. Giants is whatever. So when it comes to sports in the hometown, I root for the Nets because I'm from Brooklyn, but bro, it's tough. It's tough being a New York sports fan.
Look, isn't it crazy how many more years we're gonna go? The Knicks is whatever.
It's like there's no hope in sight with the Knicks. It's just like they're like your drunk uncle in your family. They lame shame, but you love them to say.
Right. You're like, I'm gonna rock this. I'm gonna rock this cap though. I'm gonna rock this jersey though. What I know what it is. Hey man, where can they find you at on social media? Because I know you're moving.
Hovain on Twitter and Instagram.
Okay, my man, Hovain. Yo, I want to talk more soon, man, because I got some things in the works, and I definitely want to keep running some things by you, because you're one of those minds that I appreciate, man, and I trust. And I appreciate you for taking time here. And anytime you need me to show up and do that introduction, you know how old boy be on the mic. Let's get ready, dude. I'm ready, dude. So you just let me know, man. I appreciate you. My man, Hovain Hylton, man, Cinematic Music Group, bunch of other ventures. Follow him on social media. He got a lot popping off, and hopefully, I'm trying to get things in order so I can fly cats like yourself in town soon, so I can have you come and speak to this next set of creators we got here.
I love Tampa, man. Tampa is one of them cities that people sleep on. Tampa is dope. Went to the club a couple times in Tampa, had a great time. The scenery is good. It's Tampa Bays.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit going on. Yeah, man. Had a great time.
I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you soon, man. Peace.